Hey, it's Ben Wise from ZOAR Fitness, and this is the name game. So, workout number 3. This one is bar crawl. So, 4 time, 60 bar-facing burpees, 60 power cleans, 115-85, 60 toes to bar. It is a 10-minute time cap. So, most of you will be getting time capped. The question is, how far will you get before that happens? A few people, the higher level athletes, I tried to put it like right where it's on the edge of, if you're a really good athlete, you should be able to get very close, if not finish this workout. But for most people, you're not going to be there. Think about, how far can I get? If this was a 10-minute AMRAP, how far could I get into this chipper? So, equipment setup. Obviously, you need the bar, which I would just load with your power clean weight, and then you just use that for the bar-facing burpees. And then you want to set that up kind of on a 90-degree angle relative to the bar that you're going to do your gymnastics on, or relatively closely to it. So you're probably not going to have a lot of time left to do toes to bar once you get there. So the goal is to get there as quickly as you can and kind of rush that transition. So set it up relatively closely, assuming that you're going to get done with the power cleans. So movement standards. The bar-facing burpee. It is a 2-foot takeoff. You can land with like 1 foot first, because that's really awkward if you don't. But it's definitely a 2-foot takeoff, and so you have to jump over it. And you do not have to jump up the burpee. So you can step up or do like the lunge step into a burpee, however you like to do it. The one thing is, you do have to face the bar. So you have to face the bar, you have to get up, and you have to jump with 2 feet at the same time over. A lot of people end up doing this thing where they like jump with like a little hop step almost, where it's like the 1 foot leaves significantly, and it's typically the foot that's further back leaves significantly sooner than the inside foot that's close to the barbell. And it's something that they probably don't notice right away, but if you were to get reviewed by, CrossFit HQ or somebody like that, they would definitely deduct you for it. So make sure that you're taking off with 2 feet. Focus on that in your warm-ups. The power clean. It is like that middle ground where it's not light, but it's definitely not heavy either. So it's that combination of like, is this something that you're going to cycle it a little bit and do some touch and go reps? Is this going to be something where you do all singles? And obviously that's going to be like, where is it relative to your max? If your max is 165 pound power clean, you're going to do singles, right? If it is something where you can power clean 315 pounds, you probably might do some touch and go reps in there. So again, that sort of just depends. But in terms of the movement standard, you have to stand up fully before you actually lower it. That's the one thing. Again, if it's a relatively light barbell and people are trying to cycle quickly, they tend to have that bar kind of come off their shoulders before they stood up all the way. The other thing is, make sure you're keeping your elbows in front of the plane of the bar the entire time as you're moving. So those are the two things that I see people mess up a lot, where they're either kind of do a muscle clean where they're get their elbows like here and they're back down already, and the elbow doesn't get through all the way, or as they go to stand up, the elbows drop as they're coming through, so they would get technically no rep there. So hold yourself to that standard. Besides that, the toes to bar is pretty simple. You have to keep your feet, first of all, your feet must break the plane of the bar in the back. So if this is if you're watching somebody toes the bar from the side, their feet have to come back behind the bar, and then they have to come up and touch with both feet at the top of the movement as well. The last thing I'll say, and this might be something that you might not have heard of before, if you're doing singles, or anytime you break, but say you're doing like sets of 1 or 2 or 3 on the toes bar once you get there because you're really fatigued, you can't touch your feet to the floor while your hands are on the bar. So in other words, you can't, say you're folding this way, you can't touch your feet, bring your feet down and put almost pause and just leave them on the floor for a second to balance and catch your breath, and then kick them back up. You have to, once you jump up, feet go behind the bar, feet go up and touch the bar without them ever having touched the ground, which is kind of a nuanced thing, but it's something that you probably would have to do at a competition. All right, so let's get into the workout thoughts and some of the strategies. So again, most people are going to get time caps, so it's about burpee efficiency is probably the number one thing I want people to think about. So be practicing your footwork. Make sure you're not wasting a lot of movement. Be intentional, and make sure, go out on a pace with your burpees where you know you're not going to have to stop to breathe and take a breathe break during the middle of your burpee set. So think of it as I'm going to be doing 1 rep or 2 reps every X number of seconds. I'm going to try to hold that cadence through the entire 60 reps, rather than thinking of it as like an EMOM where I do a bunch and then I stop and rest for a little bit, and then I do a bunch and stop and rest for a little bit. The more methodical and consistent you can be, they're just going to conserve your energy and you're going to get further into this workout. So again, if you can stay low over the burpees, if you can time your breath with the burpees, all the things that we normally practice with bar-facing burpees as we're doing our developmental work, that's going to help you a lot in this. Next, once you get off the burpees, and again, you want to pick a pace on the burpees that you can go straight to the bar, or the power clean bar, and just get to work right away. That being said, you might choose a pace on the burpees where it's just a little bit uncomfortably quick, where you can sustain it through all 60, but then you do singles at the beginning of your power cleans, where it's maybe every 5 or 6 seconds you do a single, so it's like a pretty conservative pace considering the weight, but allowing yourself to like blow some steam or CO2 between those singles of your power cleans. So the first maybe 5 reps of the power cleans you kind of take to catch your breath a little bit, and then you start doing maybe doubles or triples or fast singles after that. That's certainly something that I would do in this workout. So besides that, if I was thinking about this workout for myself, the power cleans right around a little under 40% of my 1 rep max, which again for me is like, well, for most athletes, if you're, well, let's just call it normal, and your physiology is kind of on par with that, where you're not like occluding a ton of blood flow and things like that. Just say you're like, for most people, they're going to have, again, that below 40% is right where they're probably going to start cycling some of those reps. So again, based on how much this is relative to your 1 rep max, the 115.85, is going to be whether you're doing singles or touch and go reps, and just kind of how comfortable you feel breathing in that, etc. That being said, I probably wouldn't have anybody go above definitely 5s. But again, it's more about how can you rest less rather than trying to get more sets at a time. Short sets, small rest is the name of the game. All right. When you get to toes to bar, if you get there, it's going to be about how can can you continue to move. You're going to be completely gassed at that point pretty much, unless you're someone who's again at a really high level where you have some time bought at the end of this workout. But for most people, if they get here, they're not going to have much time to do toes to bar at all. So it's about, can you actually get through some reps while you're tired, while your breathing's really elevated, while your heart rate's really high, where your blood pressure is probably spiked for some of the power clean stuff. Are you able to still breathe and move and maintain your movement quality as you're doing that and get through some decent reps, right? So at that point, if you do get there and you have some time, you have to be strategic in how you break up those toes to bar though. If I get there and I have 2 minutes left, what am I going to do? Am I going to open with a really big set and then do doubles or singles after that? Am I going to try to, again, maybe treat it or something? It's like, 5s with, a quick walk around the rig and right back to it. Again, I would know your game plan as to how you're going to break that up. And it kind of depends how much time you have left at that point, but maybe have multiple game plans in terms of plan A is if I get there and I have 90 seconds, I'm going to do 5s with a really short break. If I get there and I have 30 seconds, I'm just going to try to get one big unbroken set and just do as many as I can, and then try to maybe do a couple singles if I run out of time at the end. So it's really going to dictate how you attack that, and that could be the same with the power clean for some people. They're going to be exhausted when they get the power clean, so how far can I get into it pace by pace based on how far I am into the workout when I get there. Which again, when you have these time caps like this, it's something that, again, this is something that you have to be able to plan for. So the other things that I would think about is cycle speed is super important in this workout. I wouldn't necessarily try to speed up the burpees a lot, but I would definitely figure out how long you think the burpees should be taking you. So for me, I might say I'm trying to do a burpee every 3 to 3.2 seconds, somewhere in that range. So it's probably going to take me, just maybe over 3 minutes to get that done. I'd probably shoot for maybe 3:10 to try to get my burpees done and get right into the power cleans. Again, maybe catch my breath a little bit while I'm doing those, in the first 5 singles, and then try to pick up the pace in them. So that'd be my strategies. Not necessarily should be your strategy, but you should think about, okay, how long or what is my cycle speed on these different movements, and then calculate that out over 60 reps, how long it's going to take me. Same thing with the power clean. I can do a power clean every X number of seconds, maybe it's 2 seconds. So that's going to take me X amount of time to get through this amount of reps. That's where it's going to put me probably somewhere around here for the time cap, right? Thinking through these things ahead of time, creating a game plan so that you can execute to the best of your ability. Certainly if you're a premium member, look into the cycle speed calculator that I have, and realize again that who was doing that wasn't necessarily you that was the one testing it, but certainly you can get a good idea of what, in general, those cycle speeds are going to be. That's something certainly that can be helpful. You just got to think about the different cost versus reward of maintaining a greater cycle speed for the different variations of the movement. That being said, just have a game plan, stick to your game plan, and know towards the end of the workout you're just going to have to get the best, fit as much of that work in as possible. All right. So warm-ups in the comments below for everyone who's just watching on YouTube. If you're people who are actually a part of the protocol, you can view it on the site. And if you're someone who is just watching on YouTube and you're not a member of Premium, head over to ZOARfitness.com/premium and you can get a 7-day free trial of the protocol and of premium articles and things like I mentioned, like the cycle speed calculator, all in there as part of the membership. So head over to there, ZOARfitness.com/premium to get your 7-day trial. Good luck on bar crawl.